And then I wanted to get into kind of maybe arguably the most negative part of this, so we don't have to spend too long on it.
Yeah.
But but there was a lot of discussion. One, because the pricing was not shown in this direct. I think that
Yeah.
has been kind of an annoying um, trend. I think Sony has done a lot of this lately of not of putting out like these details that are to me an important part of this. I mean, we're watching a marketing thing that they are putting out. It's from the company. It's a extended commercial that we all enjoy and love because they make them fun and they make them an event. But at the same time, like if you're doing a thing to market a thing, like put the thing out there. You know what I mean? And it was really annoying, like you said at the top of the show, Jacob. Like,
Yeah.
why do we have to fish for the price and get it from these potentially unreliable sources and then eventually real sources, and just a weird thing. And then the pricing being, we're getting leaks from Spain and the yen version and the pound version, and it's just like, can we just get the official thing right away? You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So the price of the Switch, I'll say it and then we can get into it, but $449 for the console itself, and then there is an available Mario Kart bundle for $499, which is a steal when we get into the price of what Mario Kart itself is. So what are you guys thinking about the price of the system overall?
I'm fine with it, man. It seems like it's full
Yeah,
of technology. It's full of what's the word? Potential.
totally.
I'm looking forward to the features. I'm looking forward to the games. There's a lot of Switch games. Switch One games that I don't own because I've been waiting for the Switch 2 and to see how much easier it is to use and all that stuff. And with these upgrades and stuff, I mean, fuck it. Like I'm down. 450. I mean, yeah, maybe it's $100 more because 500 is what I would want to spend because I want Mario Kart. Mario Kart clocking in at $80 digital, which is kind of to me that the real negative point of this, and then $90 physical, which is even more expensive and completely insane.
Yeah,
But
insane.
if you get the bundle, Mario Kart's only $50, so that means the game could be $50, but they're going to make sure it's $80 or $90. But then again, that sets a precedent for games. Prices can go up to 80 now as a base price. Once it's happened once, it could always happen over and over again, and it can even go further. On top of tariffs and all the bullshit that's happening here in America, who knows how
Yep.
much this shit will really cost by the time we buy it. So it sucks to see, but like as of the console, like $500 for the Switch 2, in my mind, it's worth it. It's totally worth it, and I'm really excited for the console. So like that's just I'm just more like I won't even say worried. Like the dam is broken. $80 for a digital video game is now a reality. I'm just sad.
100%.
I'm sad that we're here, but it is what it is. Like I don't know.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Yeah, absolutely. Steven, I'm going to pass it off to you, but I did just really quickly want to say I do kind of feel like the Nintendo feels like the price of the console is $500, and like they're giving you Mario Kart as part of that sort of thing, but like then
Yeah.
they're like, okay, then we'll kind of take the hit on the 449 just because it looks better for the Switch only. But I would assume that like a good chunk of people are just going to go for that Mario Kart bundle. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like
Yeah.
almost as if it's a pack-in game, and they're kind of just saying like, here's a pack-in game, sort of thing. Um, and like we saw with Nintendo Switch 1, where the Mario Kart bundle, the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe bundle was like the one that they put as their Black Friday deal for literally every year of the Switch. Like, and it was like, it was like maybe $40 cheaper or something than the original. Anyways, it's just
Yeah.
hilarious.
Totally.
So, that I think Nintendo just is pretty much like, here's the Switch, it's $500 with Mario Kart. Like that's the
yeah.
vibe. But if you're really a cheapskate, here you go. But you're probably gonna buy Mario Kart later for $80, so get fucked. Um,
Yeah.
anyways, Steven, your thoughts?
So it's a limited time production on that until like March of 2026, if I'm right.
Interesting.
I caught that at like the bottom graphic of that. Anyhow,
Nice.
scalpers are gonna be all over this like flies on shit. I did manage. I'm one of the people who managed to get a launch day Switch. Like I pre-ordered one from GameStop. It was like I had a receipt and everything, and I had to wait in the line, of course, to get it, but because they weren't doing online to help with like the scalping shit. Like
Yeah.
they were
Which
doing
is a good thing they're doing. And real quick to detail that
They're
they offered a
doing
thing where
something, yeah.
if you have an online Switch account and you have over 50 hours played on your Switch account, then they're giving you a like a priority link or something to be able to.
So
get
I
that
do
pre-order.
have it, but I don't have the online. So it's like
I don't have
if I
current
buy,
online,
if
but
I
I
have to buy
have
the
before.
online.
Yeah.
I have had
I'll look
maybe
that up.
collectively 12 months of online, right?
Me too. Me too.
Like over the span of it, and then like definitely 50 hours on it. But I'm hoping I just get an email because that would be much easier to try to maybe avoid some of the bullshit. That was my big thing is like price gouging is going to be a thing. On top of it, like, yeah, sure, it's going to be $4.99. And that's a great price. I think it's a great price to kind of sit where we're at in the economy and things like that. I think it's a great asking price for the tech inside of it too.
Yeah.
The games.
Hmm.
The games was kind of a bit of a gut punch when we just had an announcement of moving to $70 for Tears of the Kingdom as the first game to do that, if I'm right.
And on the other consoles, the Xbox and that this
and-
generation was the first time that we
Yes.
got $70 games. So
And we got $70, and I feel like that was just maybe 2 years ago, right? At less than. And now we're at $80 and $90 for the games. What's more alarming to me is, yeah, maybe we should have been paying this price. I don't know. But the rate at which it's going up is alarming to me, more so than like the actual price, which does kind of suck still. Don't get me wrong. And then there's also a confusion with like Donkey Kong Bonanza's $70 on some places, and then I kind of want to wait for that to like settle out before really getting into it. Because I'm hoping Nintendo
Totally.
kind of gets their shit together and gets like a standardized price for stuff, because
Yeah.
then I'm like, oh, is it going to be $60? Is it going to be 40? Is it going to be 80? It's like, and what makes that decision more valuable or less valuable? That's kind of where I sit on it, is like, I'm just confused really, and like alarmed a little bit at the rate it's going up. That's all.
Yeah, I have this graphic here. I'm gonna pull up. Sorry, Gage, go ahead.
no, please, you can pull it up. But while you do, I'm just saying, the thing that I I think Nintendo and maybe Japan in general is better at this. But with things like, it's kind of a double-edged. It's a weird one because on the one hand, I think most of us would be happy to say, hey, game development has ballooned. It is more expensive than ever to make a game. So we are willing to support the development teams by paying more upfront and not having them have to do things like microtransactions or, that kind of bullshit. And to be able to support creative development teams to be able to continue to making the amazing art that we love from them. But if the last 4 or 5 years has been any indication, the layoffs aren't going to stop. The companies aren't going to stop chasing infinite growth, and chances are that this extra $10 or $20 per game is not necessarily going to save people's jobs or necessarily save, or the relationship between the consumers and the people who make the art that we love is not necessarily going to be saved by this increase in cost. And so if we see, Nintendo doesn't really announce things like layoffs and stuff all that much, but like, if Sony and Xbox follow suit and we start seeing $80 games, and then there's another 1,000 people laid off at Microsoft, I'm going to be like, so what the fuck was all that money for then? You know what I mean? Like, so that's where my disconnect is with the pricing increase.
Yeah, but
Sucks.
take a look at these games. I mean, the Kirby and the Forgotten Lands Switch 2 edition, because it has the extra content, that's $80.
Yeah.
But Street Fighter
Crazy.
6, which includes every fighter and DLC that they have put out since launch, which has been like a real, like, actual next gen game, and the Kirby game being a Switch 1 game with some visual enhancements and some new content, that's only $60. And across the board, even like Donkey Kong will be $70. Mario Kart will be $80. I mean, obviously Donkey Kong will be a 3D but like contained experience, whereas Mario Kart World is like open world and it seems big. Maybe that's what it is. But then it's like the Breath of the Wild Nintendo Switch 2 edition is 70, but the Tears of the Kingdom is 80.
That is
So
wild.
it's just kind of all over the place.
Why?
It's
Crazy.
I don't know really what to say
Yeah.
here. So.
And then
Yeah.
my thought with Mario Kart was that maybe this was my optimistic. Hopefully, this is Nintendo doing kind of some what Nintendo has kind of. Maybe this is some Nintendo holding on to some of their old world vibes or standards. Is like maybe they are going to continue to update Mario Kart for a long time, and they know that, and therefore they're like, you're going to get a bunch of free content for this for years to come. So let's front load the price instead of charging you for those packs later. But what if they just charge for packs later? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just nervous that that's not going to happen. So we'll see. I don't know. It's a weird one.
Yeah, it's weird, but it is what it is, and here we are.
We'll
But
pay for it because it's Nintendo.
Or we won't. Here's my thing.
I will.
With all of this, like
you might
this
not, but I will.
this definitely made me say I'm most likely not going to buy a Switch 2 until the Duskbloods come out. I will wait and see if there's a Black Friday deal next year, or if there's upgraded or updated
that's
trade-in
the
things.
system seller for you, though, right? Like for me, it's Metroid Prime. For someone else, and so that's going to be really to be dependent on what you enjoy more. So
Yeah.
It's also like I'm planning on making a relatively other big purchase, and I'm probably going to get a Steam Deck, or potentially if this new ROG or Asus Xbox tablet is something that interests me, I think that might end up being my next major hardware purchase. So for me, I don't see myself buying a Switch 2 for maybe a couple of years, and then with Nintendo not really decreasing its prices on games throughout the entire lifestyle of the thing, I don't know. It is gonna make me think twice if I am getting a lot out of other portable handheld systems. There might be something about it that turns me off ultimately, but we'll see.
Yeah.
What about you guys? Are you thinking about Switch day one, or what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm the guy.
I want it.
That. What they're selling to me seems appealing. You know, the social features that I've been desperately missing from like being able to be on the couch with my friend or whatever. Seems to be a little closer to that. Like obviously not the same, but back to like the Wii Fit days where like, you know, you'd use the balance boards and just look stupid doing some of the exercises on it. Or WarioWare stuff. I just imagine a WarioWare on this would be really fun, right?
Telling you, man.
So just stuff like
Totally.
that, dude. I'm in. And of course Metroid Prime. But yeah.
I'm just saying when Steven and I have our Switch 2s and we're playing, we're gonna be like, wish Gage had one with us.
No,
I wish Gage was here.
And that's the type of thing that would sway me. You know, like if all of these experiences are coming out and they are magical and people are really enjoying them, as you know, if we're seeing the value in all of them and all that kind of stuff. But I waned on my Switch usage a lot, like for the last year that I had my Switch, and then I sold my Switch a year ago, and I haven't missed it because I've been playing Xbox games on my iPad in bed, and you know what I mean, and like, you know, with things like Game Pass, with things like Steam sales, like I have so many games. I'm not at a place where, so I think Nintendo is valuing their games as being extra special. That's why they're pumping them up to $70, $80, $90.
Sure.
Yeah.
But like, I don't have a history with Donkey Kong. I don't necessarily know that that's like, I mean, it is probably going to be fun, and the gameplay is king in Nintendo, and it's always enjoyable. But I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. And the game price increase with a lack of promises of game sales and game deals, the same way that like a Steam library has, it does turn me off in a day when I already have so many games to play.
Sure. That's fair, but dude, it's Nintendo.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
I grew up with Nintendo.
That's gonna be the thing.
NES was my first console, so I've always liked Nintendo. Even though I haven't bought a Nintendo Switch 1 game basically in several years and never really touched my Switch 1. But I'm just stoked for the Switch 2. I feel like
Me too.
it's going to be a better. I feel like out the gate the Switch 1 was underpowered, and with this one it's looking good. It's looking good out the gate, and it has enough features where I think at launch there will be a big wave of gamers playing this thing and messing with this thing, and I kind of want to just be a part of that movement. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's totally valid. So yeah,
And so is your opinion,
Final-
of course. Absolutely
Oh, yeah.
valid, and I totally get it. Totally get it.
Yours is the more reasonable opinion. Let's be real here.
It's all reasonable. It's all our free time.
all
and money.
real.
Yeah, I think
100%.
so.
I'm just saying that it's like, look, if you don't care, you don't care. Fucking save the money, play Game Pass games, dude. There's so much
Yeah.
to do and play, but it's like, but I want a game chat with Steven.
No, I hear you, man, and I do. I think Jacob, you really have keyed into the fact that Nintendo is putting this at the tentpole of the system. Like the new Nintendo gimmick is just social gaming, and that's really cool. And I think Nintendo could put a spin on that invigorates all of us, like in a similar way that Xbox Live did in its early days. Like there's a Nintendo-ness that they could bring to that could make it a whole new level of like charm and enthusiasm. So we'll see.
Hell yeah.